Hello, and welcome to Self-Care is Sexy. My name is Chris, and I'll be your host. We're a podcast that's here to generate and share self-care ideas with each other. Last episode, which was in June, oh my gosh, my friends, I need to catch up. We were talking about finding the edge. Not like the mental edge to be more productive or get more done, but finding that edge that you reach in which you cannot do one more thing or you're going to fall off into oblivion. And we need to make sure that we do know how to find that edge as we're getting closer to it. So if overwhelm and boundary setting is something that you need to work on, go back and listen to that past episode and check that out before moving on to today's topic, which I want to give you a quick preview of what to expect from today's show. So today's episode, we're going to give you some very practical, actionable tips on how to love yourself better, how to sell yourself on yourself, and develop a different way to talk about yourself and think about yourself through self-care. So if you have a really negative self-image or if negative self-talk is kind of your default mode right now, this is going to be a great episode for you. And it's not going to be all journaling and bubble baths. We're actually going to give you some tangible life hacks that are going to save you time and accelerate the healing process through self-care. But first, a few quick housekeeping notes. First of all, before I get started, I just want to let you know I'm not getting paid through any advertising dollars for letting you know about these self-care ideas or anything like that. I'm just sharing with you what I do for self-care in an effort to help you generate some more ideas for yourself. So I want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Christine with Tangelo Health here in Portland. They're in the Pearl District. And if you have any kind of back pain or sports injury, this is the gal you want to seek out. Body work is so important to self-care. And they took such great care of me. When I first showed up, I could barely walk. And after my first appointment, I was practically dancing out of her studio. Felt so good to get that release. So if you're looking for some body work, check out Dr. Christine with Tangelo Health. Also, if you're looking for some additional podcasts to fill your ear holes with positivity and encouragement and all the things, I highly recommend you find these two podcasts. The first one is Losing 100 Pounds with Corinne. And even if you're not into weight loss right now or you don't feel like weight loss is a part of your self-care journey, she has such incredible coaching that is filled with wisdom drops and mindset shifts that are going to change your life and how you think, no matter if you're on a weight loss journey or not. So check her out. She's sassy, she's Southern, she cusses a lot, and she's got some very real ideas on how to help switch your mindset. Again, that podcast was Losing 100 with Corinne Crabtree. The other podcast I never miss, and a huge part of why I podcast now, is the Confidence Podcast with Trish Blackwell. She is a powerhouse of positivity, and she is the kind of coach that's going to help you find your most confident self. So check her out. It's the Confidence Podcast with Trish Blackwell. Last but not least, if you know me in person, you know that skincare is a huge part of my self-care routine. I do drag and put a ton of makeup on and take it off, and this can be very harsh to your skin. So I'm very particular about the products I use, and I really dig Mad Hippie. If you've never checked them out, they are great natural products. I'm currently using the hydration mist. It's $20 on their website. I use it before, during, and after my exposure to sun. This is the best stuff you're going to find. Check their products out. It's called madhippie.com. Okay, so let's get into today's content. I really want to talk about selling yourself on yourself today. And the reason this came up is that I feel like When I talk to people about their self-care routines and what they're doing for self-care, more often than not, what people often say is, I'm so busy. I can't get my self-care in because I have all these other obligations. And it's true. I don't want to diminish that or invalidate that experience. That's absolutely true for a lot of you. But what I'd like us to do today is to start thinking about what you can add on to those thoughts and those mindsets when it comes to your self-care and taking care of yourself and putting yourself first and setting boundaries so that you get to live the life you want to live. And you're no longer in this place where somebody else or something else outside of you is controlling your day-to-day life. Because when you make self-care the priority, when you put yourself first, you change everything. You change your mindset about how you feel about yourself and ultimately how you care for yourself. And what that does is allow you to be self-sufficient. So all the drama and the horseshit and the chaos happening around you doesn't affect you as poorly as if when you're raw from not taking care of yourself. And when you put yourself first, you become this autonomous badass, almost like you're bulletproof. Because while we can't change the chaos and destruction that's happening outside of us, we can change the way we react to that and the way it affects us by improving our relationship with ourselves. And you gain so much more of your own life back when you put self-care first and you make that the priority. So today I've got some tips on how to get you to sell yourself on yourself so that self-care becomes the default. It becomes the priority. It becomes your daily mindset. Because if you don't believe in yourself, obviously no one else will, but then you also be more affected by the things you have no control over. And I want us to start thinking about, before I get into these five tips on how to sell yourself on yourself. And this goes out to my friends out there who have negative self-image, who are dealing with imposter syndrome, who are chronic people pleasers, who battle codependency. I want you to think about good salespeople. Not slimy secondhand car salesmen, but really good salespeople. I want you to think about some of the traits they have. For example, really good salespeople know their product. They know their product inside and out. And they know you. They know the consumer. And they're able to pair the consumer with the product that's being offered. So I want you to think about that in the sense of how well do you know yourself and how well do you know the sort of list or category of things that you could do for self-care? And can you match those up? Are you good at that? The other thing is that salespeople, they know how to get to a yes. They know that when someone's wavering, like, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's in my budget, this or that, they know how to get you to a yes. They know how to inspire you to do the thing for yourself. And that's what I want us to think about today is, are you enthusiastic and are you inspiring yourself to take the time, say no to obligations, say no to social things, dial it back and focus on making you the priority. All right, so I've got these 5 ways that I want us to think about on how we can sell ourselves on ourselves. Number 1, I want us to cheerlead every small accomplishment. And I mean everything. Be enthusiastic about it. Be annoying about it. Do it so much, cheerlead yourself so much that you can't stand it. It gets annoying to you. Congratulate yourself on every little thing you do right, especially if you do something that normally you would feel bad about. So, for example, recently I had to coach and run our co-ed softball team, and I've never done it before. And my typical headspace, my normal mindset and default is, oh my God, I'm gonna screw it up. People are gonna think I'm doing this wrong. Our team is gonna lose because of me, and I don't know what I'm doing, and imposter syndrome and all that negativity. That is typically what would boil up when I will face something I've not done before. And instead, with this new mindset shift in mind and with selling myself on myself, I all the way to the field was talking to myself like a fucking badass. You've got this, Chris. You're going to do a great job. You are an amazing communicator. People are going to recognize how hard you're working. You're doing well. You're taking on something you've never done before. You want to talk about yourself as if you're talking to a good friend. You really want to cheerlead and celebrate and compliment yourself every single time you have one small accomplishment, because that is what's going to give you the reminder and the fuel to really put yourself first and make self-care the priority. Number 2, I want you to raise your price. Now, I know not everyone is a contractor or works independently from themselves, but what I want you to think about is I want you right now in your head to come up with a dollar amount, a literal dollar amount that you will put on your time. So what is your time worth to you in dollars and cents? And I want you to start valuing your own time more than the things you're spending money on. And I want you to constantly up that value and demand more from the others around you that are getting access to you and that are taking your time from you. Now, I know you might say, well, the kids can't pay me in my time. You're absolutely right. They might not have, the $20 per hour to pay you to take care of them right now. But what I want you to do is value what you're doing and what you're putting into that and be able to give yourself the equivalent back. So if you spend 4 hours cleaning the house and you've decided that your time is worth $20 an hour, I want you to put $100 worth of effort back into yourself. That's what I mean by raise your price. Start looking at yourself and what you're doing for others as a value, because especially as women, we so often give it away for free. And now I want you to start having that mindset that every minute of your life is worth and exchangeable for a dollar amount, because it is. We are not guaranteed very much time on this earth. You might as well get what you want out of it by either exchanging it for equal time for yourself or equal money. Number 3, I want you to start developing compassion for yourself. And this can be like an abstract and difficult concept, but there's some very easy things that you can do that nobody needs to know you're doing that's going to help you. First of all, when you're developing compassion for yourself, I want you to start talking to yourself and about yourself as if you were a good friend. Give yourself that leeway that you give everyone else. Another thing you could do is every single time you go to the bathroom or you look into the mirror, I want you to look into your own eyes and say, I love you. I want you to give yourself that compassion. Something else you can do to develop that compassion for yourself, sing that little song that's going on around TikTok right now that's, bitch, you're doing a good job. Bitch, you're doing a good job. Sing it to yourself while you're doing the laundry, doing the things that you have to do in life, doing the dishes, getting the lunches ready, whatever it is that you have to do to keep the ship running. I want you to constantly develop that self-compassion by praising yourself for doing those things. And every time you get the chance, I need you to start forgiving yourself for mistakes, even the perceived mistakes, and even if it's a little thing that you tripped and you spilled the food everywhere, or something that was completely, uncontrollable. I need you to start forgiving yourself for those little things. especially when it's something out of your control. And one last thing when it comes